There are places on Earth that swallow people whole. They look normal in daylight, quiet roads, silent forests, peaceful lakes. But the moment you cross their border, something watches. These are 10 real-life places where people vanished without a trace. And if you ever go there, don't go alone. The Hoia Basiu Forest, Romania. Locals call it the Bermuda Triangle of Transylvania. A circle of dead trees in the middle of the forest marks the heart of the curse. Grass refuses to grow there. Birds never fly over it. In 1968, a military technician named Emil Barnea entered the forest with friends. He took photos of a strange glowing disk in the sky, and within days, he disappeared. Searchers found his campsite, his jacket folded neatly on a stump. The camera was there, but the negatives were melted. No heat source, no fire, just melted film in the cold dirt. At night, hikers still report voices whispering in languages that don't exist. One tourist left a recorder running while he slept. When he played it back, he heard himself breathing in the distance while he was snoring. Some say the forest shows you what it's already taken, your future lost inside its trees. Lake Angikuni, Canada. Winter, 1930. A fur trapper named Joe LaBelle trudged through a blizzard toward the Inuit village of Angikuni. He expected warmth, smoke, laughter. Instead, only silence. The snow was untouched, yet every door stood open. Inside the huts, meals were still steaming, clothes hung neatly, rifles stacked against the wall. But every man, woman, and child was gone. Joe found the sled dogs first, starved, frozen, still tied to their posts. Then he saw the graves. Every one had been dug open from the inside. When rescuers arrived, their compass needles spun wildly. They left within hours, terrified. Now, pilots flying over the lake claim their instruments go dead for exactly 13 seconds. And in that silence, they hear knocking from below the ice. The Bennington Triangle, Vermont, USA. Between 1945 and 1950, 5 people vanished in the same patch of wilderness. The locals called it the Bennington Triangle, a place where time folds and sound dies. Paula Weldon, a college student, was the first to walk the trail and never return. Witnesses saw her turn a corner and vanish into thin air. No tracks, no scent for the dogs to follow. Hunters who search the area say the forest listens. When you speak, your voice comes back not as an echo, but in someone else's tone. A ranger once found Paula's red coat hanging from a tree. When he looked away and looked back, the tree was bare. Sometimes, late at night, hikers see a woman in a red jacket at the trailhead. She waves for help, but the moment you step toward her, she fades into the fog, leaving only warm footprints in the snow. The village of Verde, Brazil. In 1923, 600 villagers disappeared overnight. No fire, no blood, no struggle. Only a blackboard message in the schoolhouse. There is no salvation. The jungle swallowed the settlement within weeks, but explorers who camped there now say they wake to the sound of a full crowd whispering just outside their tents. Hundreds of voices speaking in perfect unison. One archaeologist claimed he saw figures lining the tree line at dusk, all facing inward towards him, motionless. When he shone his flashlight, nothing. Only prints of bare feet pressed into the mud, leading back into the trees. They say Hoer Verde didn't vanish, it moved. And sometimes when the moon is low, you can still see the glow of its lanterns between the leaves. The Akigara Forest, Japan. At the base of Mount Fuji lies a sea of trees so dense that sunlight barely touches the soil. It's called Akigara, the suicide forest. Ropes trail between trunks to help people find their way out, but many never return. Locals tell of a wind that mimics voices. The wind calls your name perfectly in a loved one's tone. If you answer, you'll lose your sense of direction instantly. Police who recover the bodies say every compass and GPS stops working 30 meters inside. And at night, lights move between the trees, not flashlights, but cold blue orbs that drift soundlessly as if searching. In 2015, a hiker found a camera nailed to a tree. The last image on it was a photo of the photographer standing behind himself. The Dyatlov Pass, Russia. 1959, 9 Soviet hikers set up camp in the frozen Ural Mountains. Something made them slash open their tent from the inside and flee barefoot into the snow. Their bodies were found weeks later, scattered, half naked in the blizzard. One had her tongue missing. 2 had fractured skulls as if crushed by immense pressure. Another's clothes were radioactive. Investigators called it an unknown compelling force. Locals called it the mountain that screams. Even today, rescue teams who camp there report hearing a low human moan that rises and falls with the wind. One climber filmed his tent shaking violently in calm weather. The next morning, he was gone. His camera was found later, half buried in the snow, lens cracked, still recording. Ashley, Kansas, the town that fell asleep. 1952. At 2:27 a.m., every radio station within 50 miles picked up the same sound, a deep rumble that lasted 7 minutes. When it stopped, the entire town of Ashley, Kansas, population 679, was gone. Satellite photos showed nothing but barren dirt. But nearby towns began receiving phone calls. "It's dark here," one voice whispered. "We can't see the sun." Static, then screams. Then silence. Government maps erased the county within weeks. Highway records of exits to Ashley still exist, but the roads end in dead grass. Truckers say that on some nights their GPS shows an extra road. If you follow it, you'll see streetlights glowing in the distance, but the closer you get, the dimmer they become, until all you see is black. The Ghost Road of Brule, Wisconsin. A narrow 2-lane road cutting through endless pine. Locals warn, never drive it after midnight. In 1979, a couple's car was found on the shoulder, engine running, doors open, headlights pointed into the trees. The inside was still warm. They were gone. Witnesses report a pale figure standing in the center of the road, facing away, barefoot.
If you honk, she turns. Her eyes reflect red like a deer's, and the radio dies. A deputy's dashcam once recorded headlights approaching head-on. The other car never appeared, just the sound of breathing over the radio. The locals say the road feeds on motion. If you stop, it stops you, and the next driver will find your lights still burning in the fog. The Paris Catacombs, France. Under the streets of Paris lies a labyrinth of bones, 6 million skeletons stacked neatly in endless tunnels. In 1990, explorers found a camcorder deep inside.
The final footage shows a man wandering alone, turning corner after corner, breathing fast. He drops the camera. A pair of feet appear beside it, bare, pale, and drag him into the dark. His body was never found. Police closed that tunnel, but the video leaked years later. Frame 402 shows faces moving within the walls, skulls that weren't there in the earlier frames. Visitors say they hear footsteps that match their own exactly. Half a beat behind. If you stop walking, the steps stop too. Then they whisper, "Keep going." 10. The missing village of Kuldhara, India. 200 years ago, an entire desert village disappeared overnight. Over 1,000 people gone, no bodies, no footprints in the sand. Legend says the chief cursed the land before leaving. No one will ever live here again. And no one has. Tourists claim their phones die the moment they enter the ruins. Lights appear inside empty houses at dusk. A team filming a documentary in 2016 captured a woman's silhouette in the window, but in infrared, her body temperature was below 0. At sunrise, the crew found small handprints pressed into the dust on their car windows from the inside.